Hi, welcome to Pro on the Go. I'm Roland Nanzi, founder of New Home Sales Plus, and I can't wait to meet my very special guest from Zonda. They are a platinum sponsors at the upcoming tropical retreat, and they have so much to share. So, first of all, I'd like to welcome Karen Bonda. She is Vice President of Business Development for Zonda Virtual. Hi, Karen. How are you?
Hi, good, thank you.
Good. It's nice to see you. And then we have Matt Slutsky, who is Vice President of Business Development, also for Zonda Virtual, but also the founder of Buzz Home, which is a very important company in our industry. So welcome, Matt.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, both of you, thank you so much again for being sponsors again at our tropical retreat. Karen, we saw you last year and you did a great job. You had a great sense of humor too. People need to know that your presentation was really entertaining. So tell us about your company and what you both provide.
Matt, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so maybe I'll start with the Buzz Home level, not necessarily the Zonda level. Buzz Home, we're one of North America's largest listings of new residential developments. So if you think of MLS for resale, we are really the MLS of new construction. So if you think about condos, townhomes, subdivisions, anything new residential, we list it. And that came from my background is land development. So I used to be VP of land development for a luxury condo builder. And I just saw this huge gap of information where everybody was starting to start their search online. There was a big switch in kind of 2008, 2009 in the internet, and everybody felt entitled to information, and builders weren't giving it to them, and there was no online listing. So I went about to start what's become Buzz Home, and we've now expanded across North America.
Wonderful. All right, Karen, anything else you'd like to add about the company and what you both provide?
Yeah, absolutely. On the Zonda side, so we've been providing housing data and analytics for over 40 years. Zonda actually makes up, you might have heard of Myers Research, Metro Study, Hanley Wood. So those companies all came together and now form Zonda. So very, very well-known, well-trusted in the industry.
Yes.
And what we want to do is start gathering data and analytics on the consumer side and consumer behavior and what they're doing with new construction listings and pricing and floor plans. And we're doing that by utilizing the Buzz Home platform and the listings information that we get from that listings platform. And we're going to take that data and that intelligence and put it onto the Zonda enterprise application that we currently offer to builders right now. So giving a whole nother area of data and information for the builders to make their business decisions on. And Buzz Home was very attractive to Zonda. It's a platform that's been very successful, very specifically across Canada, and something that we wanted to really focus on in the U.S.
Sure. And how has that absorption been going in the U.S.? What is the what are people's reaction to Buzz and how that's all assimilating into our culture?
So the reaction's been very positive. It wasn't a main priority for builders when the market was really hot, and they almost didn't really want leads because they didn't have homes, so they didn't want to upset customers that were requesting information. But the market's changed, and that atmosphere has completely changed, and so builders have really been reaching out and embracing our product because we do only feature new construction homes, and we're free to list always business models. So there's a lot of benefits to being on our site.
Definitely. So, go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, just to kind of further on that, what Karen was talking about was the B2B side. So as they need more leads, they get more interested in it. However, on the consumer side, and we've been around even pre-acquisition, we were in about 14 major markets in the US. So from the consumer side, there's a huge demand for it. As Karen said, we only touch new construction. So we aren't dealing with resale and that whole world. We are very specific, or very niche in the new construction world, which is viewed by consumers very different than the resale, than the used home world. So to provide this platform of the market and how people search new construction. So there's the builders who are, as the market changes, saying, hey, we might need more leads, but from a consumer side, we've kind of always been there and trying to give that top level of data to new home shoppers.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, it's exactly right. I mean, in the States, that Zonda name is very well known. You know, I'm a big fan of Maya's research. I listen to the podcast with Ali Wolf every month on the economy, and so I've just learned so much. So that is that's a brand name that people are very familiar with. And I love the idea that you specialize in new construction, because you're right. Some of these other platforms take you off in different directions, which really doesn't help the builder. So I sort of gather that your focus is really on the builder and making sure that the consumer gets to find that right that right spot, the right home that they're looking for. With that in mind, tell us how you differ from others in the industry. You've already started to, but just tell us more about how this world really differs from others.
Yeah, maybe I'll start off on that. Then Karen, you could take it off to more of the builder side. But our kind of key differentiator from the beginning is, when I launched, we wanted to be a listing of everything. We weren't just a listing of if somebody's advertising on our site or not. Whether someone's advertising or not, we wanted to give the same quality of information between both projects. Mm-hmm. So we wanted a user to be able to come on and compare project A to project B, get the same results. However, if you were advertising on our site, well, then you'd be getting a lot more visibility. So it wouldn't really be changing the data, it would be changing the number of eyeballs you're actually getting on the project. Mm-hmm. Which has really made us incredibly strong, because we consider our key benchmark to be quality of data. That is, like, we always try to have the highest quality of data, the most listings, and really cover all projects within the area that we're in. So we become known as that main source of information. Right. So I really believe that is a key differentiator, is just the quality of information we have, the depth of information that we have, the amount that we keep it fresh, so the amount that we update those projects and the depth that we update those projects in. So that's one key differentiator. Sure. Another is our user experience. Again, coming back to the fact that we are only new construction. We don't, the way that people search for used homes is very different than new construction. New construction, people search by community. They want to understand that community. Then they dive into individual listings. Used homes resale market is typically just individual listings. And so right off the bat, the search experience is very different, which, again, because we laser focused in on this aspect of the market, allowed us to be very different in the way that people use our site right from the get-go.
Excellent. Karen, anything to add on that?
Yeah, I would just reiterate that it is free to list. So that's different from the other models that are out there. And then just to kind of maybe throw a little teaser out there to add on to what Matt was talking about, with having a very community-centric focus on our website, we're doing some redevelopment work to the current site that will launch at the beginning of the next year, which will make the search experience different for consumers and just really focus around the community as opposed to single individual homes. It's, what does a whole area have to offer a consumer? What are all of the options? Builders spend a tremendous amount of money on planning and amenities. Right. And that's underserved. It's not represented well at all in the current housing landscape. So we want to bring that forward. There's a lot of planning into that, and we should be showcasing that.
Perfect. You're really singing out of my songbook, because as a trainer, that's what I teach. As you know, it's a macro to micro approach. When a new salesperson, they tend to have a very home-centric approach to selling, and yet the actual consumer cares about going from outside in. They care about the general location. You're in Sarasota, a beautiful area, so people shop locations like that. Then it's the actual neighborhood within Sarasota, right? What makes that special? And then it's an apartment or it's a community. You're absolutely right. Most of the builders are really selling in a community and sort of need their platform, their digital platform, to really explain that better. So it's remarkable. It's just, who cares if it's a 2,000 or a 3,000 square foot house, if it's in the wrong neighborhood and the wrong location. So starting from the outside in and building that is pretty exciting.
Well, and in new construction, we were really able to pivot out of COVID because people live in their homes differently. Yes. The work from home and just the amenities have changed as well. A lot of great things came out of COVID. Resale can't do that. Right. And so, it's really meeting the needs of what today's homeowners want.
Perfect. Well, good. Well, you've sort of answered questions really about how your platform is different, I think. And then Matt, I think you've talked about your initial vision of what you wanted to accomplish? Do you feel like you've sort of shared the details there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, our goal is to just continue to expand it and ensure prior to the acquisition, we were both high rise and low rise.
Okay.
But BuzzBuzz Home was mainly known as an urban player. So we were, considered more condos, and we did low rise, but maybe just kind of outer subdivisions.
Sure.
With the acquisition, we're looking to go across everywhere. I mean, we want to ensure that our site is built for production builders as well as for the urban condo builders. And those are, again, two very different experiences for a consumer journey. So we need to ensure that our journey is correct, both on the urban and the production side. Taking over new construction across North America is a major feat, but there's no doubt that the team at Zonda is the team to get it done. I mean, there's the expertise there, there's the knowledge base there to ensure that we are built for success.
Yeah, no, I agree. You already have the infrastructure with just an expertise in that marketplace. I know at the retreat last year, we had a lot of marketing experts, that were down there. We had, we have people for the sales. Consensus is why wouldn't you try BuzzBuzz, or why wouldn't you try this new livable platform? What have you got to lose if you're getting the best of both worlds? The idea that it's a free listing platform for builders to enjoy, and then that background of Zonda's expertise combined with that, it's just, I mean, everybody has posed, well, why wouldn't you try it? What's the downside to this? It was sort of one of those, a lot of excitement. So I'm looking forward to learning even more. With that in mind, as you already said it, Karen, that perhaps a year or two ago, people didn't care quite as much because the market has been so exuberant, but it's changed a lot over the last couple of months. We've seen a definite shift in the marketplace. So with the shift, what are your top tips that you guys have? What are you suggesting that we do to adapt to this market?
Well, I would say, it's something that I've been saying since we started BuzzBuzz Home. And I think, it sounds like an oldie that everyone says, oh, of course, that's old news. But in my mind, the most important is respond in a timely manner to leads.
Oh, sure.
I mean, again, every market's different, every builder does it different, but the vast majority of builders still do not respond to leads. They put them in a registration system, and maybe 4 weeks later, an e-blast goes out, and that's the first communication. And we see that time again. I get, builders ask me, well, we're still in the planning phase. We don't have anything to share yet. I'll just respond in 6 months when we have stuff to share.
Oh my gosh.
No, that is a respond immediately with a personalized message saying you don't have anything yet, but when we do, we're going to get something to you. Start building that relationship. And every builder, every salesperson, every marketing person says, of course, that's the most important. Well, actually start doing it, because you might be saying it's the most important, it's very important, but most builders still are not doing that. So, I mean, I cannot stress enough a personalized touch on dealing with online.
Sorry, Matthew. Yeah, I agree entirely. We have the online sales counselor portion at the retreat, and I work with a lot of companies, and sometimes when I do I'll do research before we start working together, and sometimes you'll find that it's 2 or 3 days before you're being contacted when you've been asked for information. And I think the buyers will give you 20 minutes or something to respond in some fashion before they'll just move on to the next. So I agree that speed sells. You really need to be quick in your response. Karen,
and personal.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Matthew, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, and personal. Like, there's one thing is to respond, but if you're just responding with an automated message that says thanks, that's not going to go very far. It needs to actually have, in my opinion, again, everyone has different opinions on this, but an actual personal touch to it to start building that real connection and relationship.
So you get the leads to them, but it's up to them to really have that personal touch and make sure that those leads are managed quickly and in a personal way.
So from BuzzBuzz Home, all leads go direct to the builder. So it doesn't come through us, it's direct to the sales center. Right.
That makes total sense. Karen, what about you? What other tips are you suggesting in this definitely shifted marketplace of the last 6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah. Well, I think best practices are best practices for a reason. go back to the basics. It's
Right.
just kind of adding on to what Matt was talking about. I think 2020 and 2021 were anomalies. We have to
Yep.
put our 2019 hats back on and pick up where we left off.
Right.
Or it's no longer order taking anymore. You have to be curious again. You have to be hungry again. You have to be patient, and really just focus on just the basics that you teach all the time, Roland. It's
Thank
just
you.
more critical now than ever.
Yeah, it's interesting. I heard Ali talk about that. She said that we're sort of back to 2019, which was a very good year for builders. It was
Right.
really started to, but
And we're
everyone
doing better
worked.
now than in 2019. So,
Exactly.
everything is okay.
Yeah, everything is fine, but we have to work hard and we have to work smart again. You can't just show up and not mess up. You actually have to have a real process and stick with your platforms and then take those leads and respond immediately, and have trained salespeople and online sales counselors that know what they're doing, and pricing strategies to make sure that you're moving your home successfully. Well, good. The theme of the retreat is better together. And when we came up with that, we just figured
Promoted from BuzzBuzz Home into the community sharing. I mean, we used to host groups actually up at my summer home, my cottage, that included all of our competitors, and the idea was a place to come and actually share information. And we used to run it like a bar camp.
Oh, really?
And again, it would have builders, it would have PR professionals, marketing, sales, but they're all competitors against each other, including our own competitors.
Right.
And the idea being to just share knowledge, because in this market, in the tech world of real estate, there's so much to learn together, and there's so much room for multiple players.
Exactly.
It's not just one marketing company. You can have multiple. There's room for multiple marketing companies, and I think everybody should work together to help each other get ahead in the game.
Yeah. I love that, Matthew. Thank you, because I'm fairly new to the retreat business, or putting on these programs. I've been a trainer for, as long as, for a couple of decades, and been in new home sales, but I've only started putting on these retreats, and just organically, I have friends in the industry that do a very good job for builders. So I know at least 4 different marketing companies, and they all came and said, can they be part of the retreat? And I was like, well, yeah, because you all do a good job, and they all collaborate. And I think that the consumer is served better when we don't pick just one side and say magically, well, that's the only good company out there. Each one has something very, very special and very viable to offer that is different than the other. And then they tend to collaborate. When you're there, you get best practices and pick up ideas. But I'm sort of thrilled to hear that's the same sort of credo that you have, that we all work better together and that we can learn from each other and have that sort of think tank going on where the actual consumer can go from one industry expert and pick their brain and learn and find out what's comfortable, or pick multiple companies.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that the new home construction world is very slow to change. There's no doubt about that. And it does take everybody getting together like this to figure out the best way forward, because builders are so slow.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can look around, how many builders still are using basic Excel sheets to manage their inventory? I mean,
probably,
it's just it takes the entire community to come together to help push developers to the next level.
It's perfectly put, but I think it's fascinating when you say that builders are slow to change. The last 5 to 7 years have really caused exponential change, right? In our industry, it's been remarkable. As a sales trainer, we used to teach sort of meeting and greeting at the very beginning, but now we're finding that the clients are so educated, thanks to platforms like yours, where they find out so much about the community and the home. So we're teaching sales people to meet them in the middle a lot more, and adapt to how people are finding them, and they're building their homes online already, whether that's the home they end up investing in or not. It's not always the case, but they're having fun with these wonderful tools that are out there. So the change in the last 5 to 7 years, I've never seen anything like it, really. It's very exciting to see, and it's improving the consumer experience, I think, greatly. We just have to jump on board. What about you, Karen? Anything to add to it better together?
Yeah, I've got 2. I think I'll echo a little bit of what Matthew was saying about sharing, in that, really, it's pretty well known in our industry that resale is more of our competition than the builder down the street. And right now, new construction specifically is getting some pretty aggressively negative headlines in the media. And it's really just to get clicks, people to read the story, or not even to read it, they just want the clicks, they want the attention. And I think that it's a false narrative in many cases. And so when we can get together as an industry and talk about how we overcome those objections about potentially losing backlog and
Right.
just affordability and inventory and supply. So sharing how you overcome those objections, I think is going to be really important. And then along the lines of coming together, just announcing that we are rebranding BuzzBuzz Home to Livable. And we'll be announcing that to the consumers first quarter of next year. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, so some great things to come. A lot of rebranding and development work going on behind the scenes, but it's going to be pretty special when we launch it.
Exciting. Well, good. All right. I think that this has been very exciting. I know that our clients, you're right, the builders and the sales managers and sales directors are going to be excited to learn even more about you and this new Livable that you're releasing. One tip from each of you before we go, and then we'll move on.
Jared, you want to take the first tip?
First thing that comes to mind is just be curious. Just always be curious about everything. Just never stop. Just want to know more about whomever walks through the door. And you learn something new and it, new relationships, and always be curious.
Okay, lovely.
My tip would be similar to be curious, be transparent. The online consumer feels entitled to information, and we will dig deep to find the truth. So be transparent. It's easy. Share your information. Like, again, so many builders try to hold it back. Share information. It's only benefiting yourself.
Perfect. Be curious. Be transparent. Those are both great tips. Thank you so much, both of you, for investing your time here today so we can learn a little bit about what you do. And then we can't wait to see you at the Tropical Retreat on the beach in early November. We'll see you down there in Clearwater. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.